Rob, by the way, stars Rob Schneider and Cheech Marin. And Rob will not be talking to us, not surprisingly. Cheech, however, will be in about 40 minutes. So we had a very strange incident with Rob.
Yes, we did. Learned a lot about Mr. Schneider.
About 2 years ago, we were supposed to call him. We had an interview, didn't we? No. We didn't?
No.
Why were we calling him?
We had his number.
From the Florida tapes with the disc jockeys, right? Where he came unglued down there.
Right, yeah.
He got in a monster fight with a couple of disc jockeys with a morning show down there. And,
yeah.
Oh, man.
And Mark had a couple numbers for him, and so we called the one that we had reached him there before, previously, and it turned out it was his mom's house. He wasn't there, so we talked to his mom. We made a cheesy joke at the end of the conversation about Rob living in the basement and his pile of porn magazines, and we rattled through a few names of magazines.
And mention about this war with the morning show, which she didn't know about.
No, but she was cool, and she was actually laughing a couple times in the call. She was very nice. She came across, in my opinion, as just kind of a cool mom.
Just try to get Schneider to understand that was the case.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, that's another story.
She understood the whole basement jokes and was laughing along with it.
Sounds like a comedian.
Yeah. But it's not like she was a little old lady that was confused and, just some elderly woman. She totally
like he would have you believe.
She knew she was on the air. I don't think she would remember our names necessarily, the callers, but she knew a radio show called, was looking for Rob, and made a couple of stupid jokes. And she was, in my opinion, when she hung up the phone, I think she was maybe, if anything, a little amused. I don't think she was angry or anything. Well, but a week later, for some reason, all of a sudden, it's crazy.
Wasn't it? I thought it was that day. Later that day.
No, it wasn't that day. I think it was 2 days later.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
I talked to him on a Wednesday. I think it was on Friday. We got off the air. And all of a sudden, Rob Schneider is calling the building every 5 minutes, demanding to speak to whoever, our boss, our boss's boss.
Yeah, he was gunning for the general manager.
But nobody was here, so he actually calls the home office. And he's talking to, like, big bosses.
Yeah, out of state.
And
throwing a fit.
Yeah, let's see. We called his mother. She had to be hospitalized after the call because she was so upset.
Yeah.
He called me at home.
Well, we called him first. We returned the call, remember? You returned the call.
Yeah.
And he said you were going to be fired, and you were so fired, man.
I talked to him for an hour. For an hour. It was the craziest phone call I've ever been on in my life.
He completely flipped his lid. Flipped his lid.
No BS. Craziest phone call I've ever been on in my life.
This dude, there's a whole other side to this dude. Whoa.
There was no calming him down. There was no convincing him that, no, she wasn't angry. I don't believe she went to the hospital for a second.
Hell no, she didn't go to the hospital.
She had heart problems.
Give me a break.
We exacerbated them, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was just got dumber from there.
It got to the point where I feel bad for you. You are so fired. As a producer for these guys, you are so. I almost feel bad for you. That's how fired you are.
Wow.
Like, all I could do is go, okay, Rob. Okay, Rob. Okay.
Man.
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry to be fired as well. I feel bad. I feel worse than you do that I'm fired. Well, it was awful.
I knew after this went on for a while, I knew there was a little more to this story. It couldn't be that his mom turned around, and I just didn't feel that way at all. So we started searching on Rob, and found out that he has quite a temper.
Oh yes,
and in fact, when he gets a bad review, he goes ballistic. In one case, didn't he take out billboards?
Multiple cases of billboards. Yeah. That seems to be one of his first choices. Like, I'll show you. Time for the billboards, and people jump into action. They know exactly what that means.
Well, can you imagine the billboards that must be up as we speak for his new show that Time Entertainment is calling lame and racist?
That shows you how wild that phone call was with him. That it was like search on behavior and him to see what pops up. That people have, run news articles on. Yeah. And we found, God, what did we find? 10 stories?
There were a lot of them.
Different examples?
They were really personal, too. There was one case where a critic had come down on one of his movies, and he had dug into some real personal stuff of this guy's life. I think it was a case, maybe a lawsuit or something that he was in, involving another employee. was fairly complicated. But anyway, he ended up doing an interview about that very thing and claiming all these things about the guy that he's he's harassed people at work and he's got all these terrible things in his job history and blah. And it was really a lot of half truths and just expanded on some things that were very much in doubt.
Remember, he would do stuff like at least when I was on the call too, he was like, I talked to Sandler. And he cannot.
That's right.
He's pissed off. Sandler's furious at you guys.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Sandler.
That's right.
That we made jokes about you whacking off in your mom's basement.
That's right.
Sandler thought it was way over the line.
He can't believe it. It's like, can you imagine Sandler on the phone like, oh my god, here we go again.
Yeah, I see him with the phone like held out from his ear, just like talking to someone else and making motions with his hands.
Yeah, which is why probably most of the time when his caller ID is Rob, it's like, not taking that one.
Yep.
I forgot about the Sandler thing.
Normally Sandler would actually debate the subject. He'd probably go, I don't know, Rob. I think he might be overreacting. But having been down this road like 20 times, he knew the only thing to say was, man, that is so over the line, Rob. You are so right.
Be done with it.
You got to go the distance with this one, man.
You better start calling the station. Hey. Call their bosses.
Seriously, man, he must be flipping out.
Get those guys fired.
This new show is his name. He's carrying the whole show, and the critics are not happy.
Oh, look,
he has got to be flipping his lid. When we're calling it CBS's the worst, TV's worst new show. Well, he must be out of his mind right now.
Kind of like you were saying, getting personal and stuff. He loved to do that, where it was like he'd say a name that is like way high up as far as like the boss list goes to impress you. That almost like, oh, you don't think I'm serious?
Yeah.
How about
this name? And you're like, bam, to bring it home.
Oh, he's going all the way to the top, huh?
Yeah, and that video.
He did talk to Peter, didn't he? Peter Smythe?
I know he was waiting to get a call back. He talked to Peter's secretary numerous times.
I think he did talk to Peter, though, I think.
Yeah, he might have.
Our GM ended up kind of... after maybe a half a day passed or so, he talked him down. He sent flowers to his mother, so she could hopefully recover from the horror of the phone call.
He said he did have to literally talk him down, like a complete kook that had spun out and flipped his lid.
I think he had
talked down to reality.
I think he'd already calmed down to some degree, and they said, "Look, I feel really bad. I sent some flowers to your mom." And
I was so pissed.
It was a long,
his mom who got the flowers and went, "What are these for?
Yeah,
jeez, what the hell is this?"
I thought they were from Rob. Well, that video too down in Florida.
So
holy smokes, he went crazy down there.
Yeah, that was...
I mean, he was out of his mind, and then he left. Remember, he walked out of the show, and then he was pacing outside, and then he came back in. And
that was one of the ugliest things I've ever seen as far as a guest in a show. Because
he was going to get everybody fired on that show, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know about that.
Wasn't he threatening that one? Because he eventually locked in on that one he considered to be the weakest of the bunch.
Yeah.
And he zeroed in on, like the weak gazelle in the pack the lion goes after.
He was doing stand-up in, was that Orlando or somewhere in Florida? Jacksonville? I don't remember. Anyway,
Jacksonville, maybe.
He shows up, and they made him wait for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was pissed that he had to wait.
Yeah,
and then
that started
He also claimed that he had to wait in the parking lot because no one was there or something when he got there. So he was waiting in a limo. For God forbid, he had to sit in a limo for 20 minutes, which is horrible. I don't know if you've ever done it. It's just unthinkable that anyone would ever allow someone to do such a thing. So he gets in there, and he made a couple of cracks about it. And I think that somebody in the show sort of didn't respond very well. Like, oh, come on, really? Is that really that bad, sitting in a limo? And they sort of argued about whether someone was there to greet him or not, because they said someone was there, and he said, no one was there. So then... it started getting really personal. It was going back and forth. And he started really ragging on the show itself because he'd been listening to the show in the car.
Yes, yeah.
So he was kind of implying that these people really were do-nothings. And I forgot how he said that, but he really implied that it was a terrible show and they did nothing original.
Jabs, just kept jabbing the show,
But he wouldn't stop. And they're like, hey, dude, we're promoting your show. We're trying to sell tickets for your show. Why are you reaming us out? Yeah, and so it'd be like, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. And then he'd get on with whatever there was to get on with. But then he'd
fall
drop
into it
another
again.
jab.
Yeah. That's where we were getting our first hint that this is a nut job, because he just kept going after it. He couldn't get over it. It was obvious he wasn't going to forget about it anytime soon.
No, and the one guy, he was just implying that I can't even believe they pay. What do they pay you for? Because you really don't do anything in this show, man. She does the news at least.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And so eventually the girl in the show walked out of the studio. She's like, I don't even want to be here. I'm leaving. And she left. And then I think the second person left, so there was only Rob and one other person left in there. And then they're like, dude, it's over. We really, just go. Just get out of here. And so he sat there. He really couldn't make up his mind whether to leave or not. And then he finally got up and left.
Do you remember our punishment, by the way?
Our punishment?
Yeah, when he kept saying, on the phone at least, talking to him off the air, it was like, and I tell you what, I will never, ever be on that show again.
Oh, yeah.
I will never be on the Drew and Mike show again. And I remember sitting on my phone going, ooh, like not wanting to be heard. I was actually kind of intimidated by him at that point. It had gone on so long. But, he's never going to do the Drew and Mike show again.
Ooh. There's the thing in Florida. Do you want to back it up, Mark?
It's not, it's not the full interview, but it's the news story.
Is the full interview on there?
I can't find it. I don't
really.
know if it's been.
He probably had it
removed. Yeah.
Yeah. He demanded it. Rob probably demanded to be taken down.
Let's see.
You didn't ask anything interesting. Why don't you have some papers in front of you and do your job? You do something interesting.
Local radio DJs go off on a movie star, and CBS 12 is the only local station with the video. CBS 12's Suzanne Boyd joined us live with the story and the pictures. All new at 6. Suzanne.
Oh, Liz, it's good. Actor Rob Schneider is in town. He's performing at the Improv Comedy Club in City Place. So the crew at Wild 95.5 invited him on their show this morning, and let's just say they got off on the wrong foot.
I was out in the parking lot waiting for you.
Rob Schneider doesn't like to wait, and he let the Wild 95.5 crew know it.
At 8 o'clock in the morning, I love being in the parking lot of a radio station. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot to do out there. There's gum, there's cigarette butts, there's old coffee cups, there's cars to break into. No, I enjoyed it.
Kevin, Virginia, and Jason were interviewing another guest, and we're about 15 minutes late getting to Schneider. But the comedian just wouldn't let it go.
I apologize. I get it. A lot of stuff going on, and it's not like, that's why I don't want you to
You don't have a lot of, first of all, you don't have a lot of stuff going on.
See, this is going to be great. We'll be good friends.
I love it.
That's right, I can take it. I make a lot more money than you, I'm fine. I can buy and sell you.
People might think it was sarcastic. It wasn't coming off that way.
It wasn't. He really meant that he could buy and sell us, and he's probably right, but you don't say that.
Finally, after several minutes, Jason let the actor have it.
Dude, you need enough stuff.
Why are you being a jerk?
No.
You're acting like a jerk in front of the host of the show.
No. That's not.
Every time we have a comedian here, you guys think you're bigger than life, and you don't want to be here. No, you don't want to be here. Okay? Then why the even coming to morning radio then? If you hate us so bad, don't do the show then.
Bye.
All right.
Moments later,
Okay, good.
Virginia took off her headphones and walked out, and Schneider wasn't far behind.
Do you guys want to talk about something else, or do you want to go?
I turned off big time. I don't want to. I was a fan 20 minutes ago. Peace.
All right, sorry I didn't go well. Okay.
Elvis has left the building.
Now, Kevin says they've had interviews go bad before, but they've never had a guest walk out on them like this. By the way, Schneider says he was just joking when he made those comments. He'll be at the Improv tonight and tomorrow night. And if you'd like to hear all of the interview on Wild 95.5 this morning for yourself, all you have to do is log on to our website, cbs12.com.
Yeah, it's not there.
No.
And I
promise
you, he was not joking.
Oh, no.
He was not joking.
Oh, not joking.
Did he end up backpedaling on us? I mean, when it was all said and done, did he ever come back?
No, we sent him
an apology or
No, what
I mean, did he ever? Was there ever a thing of like?
No,
where he tried
apologize.
to kind of rebuild the bridge ever when it was all said and done?
No. And Sandler's still livid with us. I don't know if you're aware of that. He is livid.
He says it was way over the line, way beyond what anyone. And to pick on his mother, to pile on his mother, who was ill already,
who was on the verge
of a very weak heart.
One foot in the grave.
We should have been aware of.
Yeah, he did do a radio tour we tried to get on, but he nixed it.
He did nix it.
Yeah, that was about a year ago.
Right, and that was one of those things where we actually accepted the interview, and then normally that would just go down, and he probably wouldn't even get any thought because he'd just get his list. But he must have checked the list and said,
I'm sure,
forget it.
Check the list.
Well, remember, they asked us like a week later if we wanted to talk to him. Remember? Do you remember that? And it was like, why don't we pass on this one? At the time, you don't remember that, Mark? I swear to God, it was like a week or two after he had done that. There was something coming out, and they asked if we wanted to talk to him, and it was like, are they aware of what happened? They're not really going to. And I think we were going to do the interview just to see if you guys could do it without him realizing who he was talking to. And then I think they canceled it, or he figured it out or something.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He was looking for us.
But that's happened a few times with him.
And then remember, long before the Florida thing, the way I remember, I don't know, Drew, if you were here for this or not. Mark, it was that thing where he was shooting that movie here and hit it off with him so well that he wanted us to go down there. He wanted us to go down there and watch the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Come on down, spend some time on the set.
Do you remember his line?
Promote the movie. What was it?
Mark, we're saving a lot of money on ice. He said it on every news program.
In our interview.
Yes, I do remember that.
Wait, we're saving a lot of money on ice. What does that mean?
Because it was cold out?
Yeah, it was cold out.
We're saving money on ice.
That was like his big line. He said,
You idiot!
On
everyone.
Yeah, to everyone. So it's like, can we get him to say the line?
Mark, that's reminiscent of who's the bald guy that kept doing the interviews and was using the same line over and over? Vin Diesel, that's right.
That buzz goes all the way west to Los Angeles, where actors are not used to our below-zero weather.
We're saving money on ice.
Everyone likes the line, too. Everyone uses it in their newscast.
Yeah, then he said it to us, and he said it to... Oh, my God.
Here's Vin Diesel. David Spade does a great job on this. This is so funny. He apparently saw Vin Diesel use the same line in a couple interviews, so he started collecting Vin Diesel interviews for this project.
This week, I was watching Vin Diesel put together a story on how he gained weight for his role in Find Me Guilty. It was interesting.
It's a big physical change for you.
It's a huge physical change, because I remember talking to Sidney Lumet saying, I love the character, but how am I going to look like Fat Jack DiNarcio? And Sidney Lumet said, we have ways. We have ways. We have ways. And little did I know it was 2 hours of makeup every morning. And little did I know it was 2 hours of makeup every morning. 2 hours of makeup every morning. And a quart of ice cream a day. I ate a quart of ice cream every day. Just a quarter a day of ice cream. Every day of ice cream.
You know how he kept the weight off? Telling that story 5,000 times. I'm beginning to think the Diesel takes a lot of time to prep for his projects.
When I first directed my short film, Multifacial, what I used for confidence to direct that movie was a book by Sidney Lumet called Making Movies. And what I used for confidence was a book called Making Movies by Sidney Lumet. I bought a book called Making Movies by Sidney Lumet. To get the confidence to direct the film, I read a book called Making Movies by Sidney Lumet.
So wait, I'm not clear. You read a book, and it helps your confidence? Okay.
We're saving money on ice.
101 WRIF and WRIF HD1 Detroit. Drew and Mike in the morning.
Keep it short, keep it simple, keep it quick, keep it funny, baby.